Yo, it's Delusional here. For today's video, I want to explain something on the take of just frames. Now, just frames, for you guys, you may not know what that is. You may still be confused as to how to pull them off. But just frames are essentially moves that have to be done right on frame. I would also say that depending on the type of just frame move, it doesn't really require you to even do it on impact, or it requires you to do it on execution, where the execution has to be done quickly. It can also be done after the impact of a move to then get yourself the just frame. Now, in the case of Yoshimitsu here, our boy, my main, to do his just frame move, you have to just simply press 442, and on impact, you press 2 again. That's all you gotta do. You simply press 442, and then you press 2 again on impact. That's it. If the opponent is blocking, you don't get the just frame out of it, because of course they're not getting hit by the move, they're blocking the move. But this doesn't mean that you shouldn't go for the just frame. You know what I'm saying? Practice while you're using this move, even against an opponent that blocks the 442. That way you get the hang of doing 442 into the 2 again on impact to get the just frame. So I'll show it again. We press 442, and then on impact you press 2 again. It is that easy. Some have argued that you can also spam 2. I don't really see success when doing this, but I guess it just really depends on you. If you want to spam it right when it impacts the target, maybe that will work if I say it that way and help you guys out. Like, it kind of works if you do it that way, if you do it on impact. But if you do it right at the beginning of pressing 442, it doesn't really help. Unlike right there. Okay, it helped right there, but that doesn't count. That does not count. Do it right on the timing of me hitting the button, then just spamming the 2. But if you want to do it, you can do it. Now, that doesn't mean that the move isn't a just frame move. It is a just frame move. Some people would argue that it's not because of how easy it is to do the move. But then the whole idea of a just frame is that you need to do it right on the exact time. Just because the execution barrier, I didn't mean to press down, of the barrier of entry when doing just frames, some characters are easy to do it and other characters are just dumb hard, that you just can't perform it unless you have the dexterity, hand dexterity of some god out there, right? I don't know. Then you have characters like Lee. Lee is a specialist when it comes to just frames. His entire move list, at least not all of it, I have to say, I'm being hyperbolic, has a lot of just frame moves that he can use. So he's very predicated on using a lot of just frames to get the damage across. And his heat state allows it so that when using just frames, he can then get more meter back from his heat state. So with Lee, he has a lot of just frame moves, and a lot of them are different between how you do the commands to get yourself the just frame. So for example, here's 444. If you delay the last hit, you actually get a just frame out of it. It doesn't require you to get yourself the execution by doing it faster or by doing it right on impact. Or I guess you can say it's when you do it after the hit of the second hit of 4-4. Then you get the just frame. So in that case, it's just doing it right when you make the impact on the second hit, but only delaying it and then doing the third hit to get yourself the just frame. Same thing with his back 112. His back 112 also has a just frame, but to do this one, you have to perform back 1 and on impact time the 1 again to then do the 2 that comes out as a just frame. You don't have to time all 3 hits, it's just the first one. So the first one, as you saw right there, it had a different spark, right? You see that? When it says high, that means that you did the just frame correctly. So the last hit, the 2, will come out as a blue spark just frame move. And there you go. Then he has ones that are done in terms of execution, doing them quickly to perform the just frame. His 442, this move, if you do it quickly by pressing 442, you get the just frame. You just gotta press it quickly enough. Then he has another one in particular that requires you to press 3-3 quickly, and then on impact, delaying it press forward to get yourself the just frame of that move. So he does that. Then if you delay it on impact, you press 4 and you get the just frame. Now I have trouble doing this one as well. This one's also pretty hard. There we go, got it. But the thing about Lee is that when you're in heat state, you don't need to do this with a timing or execution or whatnot. You can do it regardless, because it trivializes the entire just frame move kit that he has. The issue is that when he uses it without doing it perfectly, he uses up the heat. So then you end up getting less heat and you can't use your other particular move that you want to use right after. He has more just frame moves, but I'm just trying to showcase that depending on the character, they have different states on how to perform a just frame. It just requires either execution speed, or requires timing, or rhythm, or delaying the move to get the just frame out of the character. Here's another example with Jack 8. Jack 8 has this weird wind-up uppercut that he does that if you perfectly do it, he can tornado the opponent into a bound. Now, if you don't do it the perfect way, which is the Blue Spark Just Frame version, he gets a launcher, which is this. But if you do the Blue Spark version, and to do this one, just do it very quickly. You press half circle forward, and then you press down forward quickly enough, then press 1 to get the Blue Spark version. And that's it. It may seem difficult, but once you get a hand on, or not a hand, a hold of the input to do this move, you can actually get it perfectly well. It's not that difficult. People may make it seem difficult, but it's not that difficult to really do this move. So again, to do it again, you just press half circle, which is basically pressing back, down, down forward, forward, and then you press down forward 1 to get yourself the uppercut. So slowly, this is what you get. But if you do it quickly, you get the Blue Spark. Now the implications on this one is that if the opponent is grounded, you can have a better time kind of flipping them over again and dealing heavy amounts of damage with this move. But if you do the regular uppercut version, they have enough time to sidestep, side roll away from you. So that's why if you perfect this particular type of uppercut, this Blue Spark uppercut, you can hit them grounded and as well as get them before they even attempt to go for a side roll. Shaheen also has one as well. In his case, you have to press forward and then back, like this, and then you press 2. If you do it normally, this is what you get. But if you do it quickly, to perform the just frame, you get a Blue Spark and you get this eagle's noise that comes out of nowhere. And that's it, really. The difference between the two is that in the case of the normal version, it's 14 frames on startup, but if you do the fast version, you get 13 frames instead on startup. Same thing with him, with Lee. If he enters into his heat state, you don't have to do it fast, you just press forward, then back, then 2, and he gets the Blue Spark version. Same properties, 13 frames on startup instead of doing it on 14 frames. Dragonab also has one as well. In his case, is his wall running 2. As you see right there. To do this one, it's just execution speed. So doing it with as fast as possible to do the execution of this move to get the Blue Spark. So quickly enough, you can get the Blue Spark. Then he has another one that he can do from full crouch down forward 1. That move into the 4 gives you the just frame Blue Spark. Right there. So it requires a little bit of delay to then perform the Blue Spark version of that move. King also has a few just frames that you can use, usually predicated on his command grabs to do his Blue Spark just frame moves. So for one, he has his Shining Wizard. To do this one, you gotta basically do it fairly quickly just to be able to get the just frame. And if you see, if you do it correctly, you actually get a different animation than from the normal version. Same thing with Giant Swing. If you do it quickly, you get yourself the just frame. right there. So it has to be done fairly quickly. It's one of his hardest ones to do, really, with King. But the Shining Wizard one is quite quick. You can also do it with his regular, like, chain grabs, I think. Which is very weird that you can do it with this chain grabs. I don't know what exactly you need to do to get the just frames with those ones. Or it could be for his other chain grabs that he has. So that's it. That's essentially everything that I'm going to be showcasing when it comes to just frames. There's other characters that have them. Some are super difficult to pull off. It requires perfect timing just to get the just frame. Other ones are easier, like I showcased, that just requires you to do them quickly enough, or by doing it by delaying the move, or on impact like with Yoshimitsu. So if you guys learned something from this, give it a like, subscribe to see more of my shit, and stay tuned for more.